I was just throwing it out there. If anyone wants to pull a coup, this is the moment. I won't be hurt. Hi, Mark. This is a pretty girl. I think so. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Because this is the board's organizational meeting, I'll open the meeting tonight as moderator. I can attest to the fact that both Noel and Molly have been duly sworn in. Noel at the New Hartford Town Hall and Molly at our Kingsford Town Hall. So I appreciate that. We will start with nominations for chair. Are there any nominations? I nominate Molly for chair. Do I have a second? Second. You got that? Are there any other nominations? I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Molly's turn. Congratulations. Oh, thank you. Thank you. At this point, I'm turning it over to you, Madam Chairwoman. Yes. Yes. All right. So now we need to elect a vice chair. I need a nomination for vice chair. I nominate Janice. Second. Okay. Yes. All. Any other nominations? Good. All in favor of Janice as vice chair? Thank you, Janice. Appreciate it. Excellent job.
These for life now?
No, for 1 year.
Oh, okay.
And then the next office that we need to fill is secretary. Even though Don is not here, he has expressed a willingness to stay on in that position, so I need a nomination for secretary. Okay. Second? Terry? Or Noel? Any other nominations? All in favor? We're all set. Thank you very much. Thank you, Don, in absentia. For the overloaded secretary. Bonding of the treasurer in an amount to be determined.
Less than 250,000.
Okay, we need a motion for that. Correct. Okay, I need a motion to bond the treasurer for $250,000. Second. Rob? All in favor? Bond the treasurer. It has been our habit in my tenure here to not have any standing committees. We don't have teacher negotiations this year, so we don't need to create that committee at this time. We just sort of move forward understanding that ad hoc committees will be created on an as-needed basis throughout the year. All right, our regular meeting dates. We don't have the language. Do we have it anywhere? Or we just first, I mean, second and fourth, except, but we include in that calendar, right? It's the second and fourth Wednesday of every month, starting at 6 p.m., except for July, it is only the second Wednesday, and August, it is only the fourth Wednesday, I can't even count, and December is only the second Wednesday. Right, second Wednesday, right, first meeting, right. Is that's,
I think there's no changes from last year.
Right, that's basically the same.
right. We need a motion to approve that as our regular meeting schedule, understanding we will schedule special meetings when we need to. Rob, second. Your name? All in favor? Okay, great. Now I need a motion to adjourn our organizational meeting. Yes, I'm sorry.
We elected Don as the secretary. Is that the secretary / treasurer?
Treasurer, yes.
Okay.
Yep, yeah, it's all one position. I'll make a motion to adjourn. Okay, second. Terry, we adjourn. All in favor? We're all in favor of adjourning that meeting and starting the next one. With your agenda. Okay, so I will call our regular meeting to order at 6:05. No public. Can I ask a question about the videotape? Will it be broadcast, or what's the?
This will be shown on New Hartford Plus.
the website, or there's a TV channel on the website?
The website.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. So the first order of business is the approval of the minutes. The first of our October 26th meeting, which was our cave workshop with Mr. Bader. Any changes, comments, corrections? Okay, motion to approve. Terry, second. Deb, all in favor? Okay, so in favor is Deb, Terry, me, Rob, Noel. Nobody's against, abstaining, or Mark and Janice. All right. Next up. Okay. Next up is the approval of our minutes from our last regular meeting, which was November 9th. Any changes, corrections, questions about those minutes? Okay. Seeing none, a motion to approve.
So moved.
Noel, second. Janice, all in favor? Everybody. All right. We are rolling right along. 6:07, we got those minutes done. Okay, very good. So we're up to reports. We do not have our students tonight. Lindsay is taking a class somewhere, and Erin? What's her? Erica, sorry, is ill, or has been ill and felt like she needed to go home from school today and not hang on, which is so Yep, wise choices. So we will start with principals. Yep.
Just want to switch order tonight.
Thank you. We'll have a basketball game in 2 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you very much. And happy holidays to everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Certainly want to talk to you about the advisory program a little bit, because as you know, or maybe remember, we are starting that this Friday. And an advisory is a small group of students, in our case very specifically between 10 and 12 students, working with a teacher or another staff member. In fact, we have 62 staff members who are going to be participating as advisors to this program, and other staff members are playing other roles. So when we have teachers working with our kids, we need other staff to kind of monitor the hallways and make sure that the kids get to the advisory group on the right time, the right place, and all of that. So it has been a very great process, actually, of putting that together. The reason behind advisory is there's a lot of research showing that, and it makes very good sense, that the more connected a student feels to their school, the higher their student achievement. So schools around the country have gone to that model. And I think this school, way back when, and certainly Raj can talk to you about the history of the house system, of the foresight of the communities to take this high school and break it into 2 houses, was really kind of a first attempt at doing that, taking a big high school and breaking it into 2 houses so that kids could be known very, very well by the staff that were working with them. Advisories take that idea and then they even scale it down so that you have one adult who gets to know the kids within their group very, very well, because the advisor will stay with the same group for 4 years. And initially, in this first year, we were meeting 7 times. And we took our staff who were on our implementation committee, we sent them really all over the state to look at the advisory programs that other schools were doing. And everywhere we went, we were cautioned to go slowly, to make sure that we spent the first year just building community so that the kids began in their group to know one another really well, so that's what we're going to do. And then from there, we really are thinking about what we do in year 2, year 3, and year 4 with them, as thinking about the freshman class, because we'll have them the longest. So the very first year is building community. The second year, we can start implementing things such as goal setting and time management, dealing with school issues such as bullying, looking at some of those kinds of issues in their school. And so that starts this Friday. The sessions will meet for about 25 minutes. And ultimately next year, we'll probably be meeting more frequently. But we're going to look at the feedback that we get from the kids and from the faculty about how that's going.
Are these meetings scripted? I mean, is there, like, is each group going to be doing the same kind of conversation or
Yeah, we
activity
actually-
or whatever they're gonna do for
They have a script that they can follow,
Uh-huh.
actually, for these meetings. It's very important that the activity be really well coordinated so that there's not an extra prep that a teacher would have to do.
Right, right.
So what we really do is we provide them with an activity that they can do with the understanding that there are other activities that they can do to be more comfortable. So we have 7 icebreakers, for instance, already due on Friday. In a faculty meeting, we role play one of them for the faculty so they can see what it would be like.
Okay.
And so they have an opportunity of using that one or any one of the other 6 that we have available. And so we've tried to make it really easy to implement. And we've got, I think, a lot of positive energy around it. I met with every class, and I think the kids are nervous about it, some of them, because they think we're going to drill down into their brain, get into deep-seated kinds of things and what they're thinking. But I think they're going to find that after this first session on Friday that it's really going to be a really neat opportunity to get to know the staff, and for the staff to get to know them in ways that hasn't happened ever before. So we're very excited about that. And another whole kind of thing with respect to the CAP test, we have 24 students score at the advanced level on all the subtests. So that's a really good showing. It puts us right as well as we've ever done on the test. So we're very pleased by that. And those students, if you remember, get recognized by the board.
Yep.
They will be there. So I'll let you know when that needs to happen. But they get a letter from the State Department, and I send them a personal letter, so we'll receive that very shortly. And robotics. I wanted to share with you how far the robotics program has come. And remember, this is a very difficult thing to do for them because they're building the bridge as they're walking on it. They really are having to build everything from the ground floor. So fortunately, we had a source of funding, but as we're finding, the funding is as good as it is. We're going to need more going through. So they're having to do that. They're having to design a logo. They're having to come up with a team name. They're having to learn how to do the computer programming and how to do the website. And in a few short weeks that we've had them together and that the mentors have been working with them, I wanted you to take an opportunity to look at that. So let's.
Is this linked up to the Northwest Regional?
It is not. They are going to be working on that tonight, as a matter of fact. Well, one of the things they've been doing, as you can see, is just putting their meeting notes that they have so that anybody can access them. One of the first things they did is to develop an officer team. And so these are the officers. And you can see, you'll see in a minute that there's a little bio about each of them. So our president is Celeste Menard. Our vice president is Eli Luton.
There's only a few girls in it.
Oops. That's, there's Eli.
A lot of all.
Our secretary, Lisa Masagati.
There's not as many seniors.
And our treasurer is Ryan. And the learning that's going on already at this level has been phenomenal. Ryan is really literally taking over all of the fundraising and getting the POs and making sure that the POs get to the right person, working with Judy with that, and Mr. Newbury. Celeste is a firecracker. She's a wonderful young lady and is working really hard to make sure that the program is running really well. Let's go back up to the beginning. And remember, the kids built this. They have a photo gallery of some of the things that they've already been to. They've been to Housatonic's school 2 weekends ago and took a look at their build site. And that's what this is all about. They have the team from Avon is coming tonight to meet with them. and then they have links. They even have a forum, and then they have, of course, the ever so important sponsors. They're right there. So in a few short weeks, they have not only learned how to do the website, because many of them did not know how to do that. We put that together, learning the computer programming, and now working on the design. I've designed their T-shirt, I've designed the logo. I don't know if you know the name of the team, it's NRG, and the gearheads. So it's Energy, gearheads, and their logo is over on the left. You can see the gears right there.
That's good. That one with green and the.
No,
No, to the left.
I'll link to the left.
That's cute. Yeah.
Ken, what is the address for this site?
NRG4055.org.
NRG 4055.
That's right, 'cause that's the team number.
Correct. Yep.
We were there the night that they were named. It's funny, so we were there to watch them try to decide.
Yeah.
NRG stands for Northwestern Regional Gearhead.
Yeah.
They picked that, it was easy.
4055.
And it was right to see the kids, how different they all are. And you said you saw the kids come.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know the kids, but you could tell from looking at them that these are like jazz band kids and, you know, kids from all different.
What's very neat about that is another issue, getting a collective group of kids that have come together around a common goal that probably never would have come together in the same space, or never would have known one another in any other context other than this. So it's a good experience for them. And our mentors have been wonderful. We have 7 that are just tremendous. They put in a tremendous amount of time. They're taking kids on weekends to places, doing a lot of shopping for tools.
How many kids are on?
Right now, it looks like we're at about 23, 24,
Uh-huh.
which is still a pretty good number.
Yeah, no, that's great. Cool. And so they get their package beginning of January?
January 7th,
Okay. And then they have 6 weeks.
6 weeks to go.
So the date of the first competition is in February or March?
March.
March, okay.
Like 223 or something like that.
Cool. Very good. Thank you. Thank you. Madam Principal? I'm calling everyone madam tonight.
As you know, this holiday season, the middle school and both the high school did the turkey baskets on Thanksgiving, and middle school did 36 of them. Down on our end of the wall. We also, the Holiday Angels, we just got a report from Krista Brazy, who organizes that for us as well. There was over $500 in cash raised, plus toys and other things, clothing pieces that she had gotten that went down to the Service Bureau. So we did what we normally do and some for that. So again, all of our community is very generous, you know, through the kids to get all these things done. So there's tremendous effort there, and thank you to everybody that helped with that. Right now, this is the time of year where we're transitioning, starting to transition 6 to 7 and 8 to 9. So our counselors have been down to the elementary schools already. And then in January will be the first 9th grade meeting, parents and whatnot. I don't have a date on that, they haven't quite said it just yet, but that should be probably the first couple weeks in January. When we return after the holidays, we'll have 8 weeks of CMT. And it'll be kind of interesting because we're so chopped up at the beginning of this year. You know, it's like kind of a stop-start kind of thing. And so we'll see how that goes, but when we come back, we'll probably, everybody will be gearing towards those. We had outside of school, with the elementary schools, we had a K-12 meeting yesterday, curriculum council meeting. The 4 elementary schools, and I was there representing us. Nothing earth-shattering coming out of there, but there was a dialogue to try to keep things coordinated. We talked a little bit about science yesterday, and then because the 4 elementaries are there as well, so I talked a little bit about the school climate plan that they're organizing as well, and sharing that information. And I don't know if I mentioned to you before about a program I'm going to do for 8th grade boys in January. In looking at like when we have class elections or when we have other clubs and participation outside of the athletic piece, we sometimes don't have a lot of boys represented there. And years ago when I obviously was coming up through, girls, we didn't have some participatory opportunities, so there were people that mentored for us and people that advocated for these kind of things. And one of the programs that happens is Torrington, Richmond County Women's Network, there's this program where they've been starting to, in the past few years, bringing girls into new career, career information by bringing in some people, women in the field, to do, to sit around at the table and tell them what they do and answer some questions and what they need to be prepared. So I thought that would be a good thing for us to do with boys, knowing, the data surrounding them. So we've been working with the PTO, a couple of the women there, and we're inviting people, in businesses outside of school to come in on January 31st in the morning to have a couple round robins with a couple different groups of our 8th grade boys to talk about their careers and the work objectives and how they got into the field and what they think future jobs will hold and how the kids should start to think about preparing themselves for that. Again, this is going to be specifically for 8th grade boys because in the spring we'll take the girls to that other program that's not ongoing. It'll be the first time that we're doing it, and so we'll see how it goes. But I'm hoping that there'll be some connections that are made there with the kids and the people that come to speak.
It sounds like a great idea. It's distressed me over the last few years when you look at our top 10 high school students, how few boys there are. And sort of thinking about the global question of what are we doing in a school environment that is taking boys we know to be capable and bright and everything else, and somehow losing them, so that they're not, this isn't where they excel. 2 years ago, there was one boy. So anything we can do to start to address that seems crucial in the world.
You're all invited to be there that day.
Okay. How did the Veterans Day Dunkin' Donuts thing go when we were in school?
I'm sorry. I thought, for some reason I thought we had a meeting right around then.
I know, it's all a blur to me, so.
November 9th.
Well, you bring up a good point, because bus bill was named. Chris was going to ask me who's going to pay.
Right.
It worked out well. We had the groups of kids just, go out. We had support, obviously, with Judy, on it in terms of taking the kids out. So we had at Winston and in New Hartford, because other schools around here were in session that day as well. So like veterans that we had in the past, they come for breakfast because they were having breakfast on the street too.
Right.
So, but the ones that came received it, very well, and our kids and they learn about when they do that as well. Go out and meet the actual veterans and hear some of them. Some of them tell us some of their stories. So,
Cool. Did they publish a poem in the paper written by one of our students?
yes, we did send those out. One of our
They
students-
published one in the paper, and that was really nice.
I just get the online paper, so I can see the
Yeah.
publishing of it. But I know I send a lot of stuff to Winston Gerald.
I think it might have been in there.
Is there a younger veterans there?
A few. I know a few younger ones. But again, like I said, I wasn't in New Hartford at this time, but in Winston for an hour. We were in school, so I came back. But there are younger, recent veterans that are involved. Ted Sweeney at the VFW post, up on Route 8, he sends it out to all the veterans on his newsletter. So it's out there for us.
Great. I think another nice thing that happened that day is our own staff veterans were honored, and I think that might have been the first time that that's been done. No, it wasn't out there.
At the high school.
Oh, at the high school.
Yeah, because we had done it in the middle school, and then we transitioned to
Oh, I see, okay.
That's nice.
That was a
Yeah,
picture.
that's-
That was a picture.
Okay, that's it.
Like I said, the Park Hempstead Elementary School did something similar as well, which was their first time doing a Veterans Day.
Sometimes you wonder if maybe Veterans Day in school, because they do.
I think you're bringing up something that
And
we're
that
going
was
to hear.
always Skylar's.
Yeah.
Always thought they should be in school that day.
I think there's been some discussion at some of the elementary schools on that very topic, so, you may, yeah, the superintendents are going to be meeting those next week, so I'm not sure if we'll have anything out of that, but that will be a topic of discussion. Are there any strong feelings on the board one way or another on that?
I don't have any, I personally don't have any strong feelings about it one way or the other, and there are, yeah. So, I mean, I think, right, I think as long as we continue to provide the opportunity to go to Dunkin' Donuts or do whatever, then it might make sense.
No strong feelings on it, but it's better. I never got Veterans Day off, so kids should go to school.
You sound just like my husband.
You know, when,
Yep.
if we were in school on Veterans Day,
Mhm.
in addition to maybe the Dunkin' Donuts, we would do more.
Right,
That's in terms of what we do in school. You know, we would clearly do that.
Right.
You know, just haven't been in school particularly on that day.
Right.
I think
We should
kids
go to school for Martin
appreciate
Luther
it.
King.
Now you're jogging.
What'd you say?
I'm gonna move down.
What was the
That's a
question?
hot button we don't want to touch.
What was the question?
Maybe we should have school during Martin Luther King Day.
I don't,
We
To honor him even
We
more
cannot,
appropriate.
we cannot,
Right.
by law.
Oh, I know.
Oh, no, it's when we
That's
contract.
why,
I didn't think we would bridge that by emotion.
Any-
You have to know that giving Veterans Day off, whatever the percentage is, some kids, it's just a day off.
Right,
Right.
And there's no recognition.
That's what Skylar's point was,
Right.
when he was chairman, that he didn't feel that the kids treated it as just a day off from school. There was no appreciation for it. It was just another day off. And looking at, seeing the picture in the paper with all the teachers that were veterans, I thought was great. And thought, why aren't the kids staying in school for this day? They get more appreciation for it in school, no matter what age.
Yep.
Did you have any veterans that are graduates, not necessarily students, coming that day? Maybe they weren't, recent.
I didn't see anyone, I've seen a couple of kids who just got out of boot camp, but nobody.
Maybe they weren't available, but, the word might spread then,
Right.
and they might stop in that day.
Yep.
I don't know if they have.
Right.
They could be deployed or,
Or living somewhere else.
Right.
Okay. Thank you, Candy. Any questions or anything? Madam Principal? All right, Madam Superintendent.
Thank you. Well, I'll start with an OptiWin update for you. As you might have recognized their logo on the website, but they did donate $500 for our first robotics team. They have 3 engineers who have joined on, which I think is really terrific. And actually, Dave Ruud called me and said, I just have to tell you how excited these engineers are to be part of this, because they've had robotics in their own history. And that was what sparked the interest in engineering for them. So they were eager to give back. I thought it was really, really a nice thing. As far as Club Farm goes, they have dug the trench for the lines that will actually tie into CLMP, although the actual tie-in won't happen until the spring, but they've trenched that out. They have new fans, so they're calling a ringless blade system to improve the efficiency of the fans. So they're thinking that they're really nailing down this, perfecting this, or over time they're happy with it. Their thought is that they will be completed with the project in January. So, we all know they continue to work on it. So that's right, knock on wood. So that's good. As far as the Yukon project goes, they have made their path to the site so they can get in and out of it. They're not starting on any of the construction piece of that yet. They're going to wait until after the spring thaw to to begin there. But everything is on target for that. Our installation, the last time we met with Dave, we were talking about which season would it be better to have to interrupt the fields, would it be field hockey season, would it be spring softball, when is the best time to go in there? So the latest talk is that they would let field hockey season go uninterrupted to try to get in there very late winter, early spring, and be out of there in time for softball, or at least part of the softball season. And it's a little bit aggressive, but I don't know if they're thinking that that's what they can do, that they'll be able to do it, because at that point it won't be a pilot program anymore, it will be a production site, so they feel it come in and put it together and have it operational quickly.
Which would be 2013.
Right, it would be spring of 2013. That's not set in stone, but right now.
Right,
that's
no, I just want to make sure there was some talk at one point that they were going to do us and UConn concurrently, so that seems to, they've come to their senses about that.
Yes, I believe you're right on that.
We'll give them one more to get going.
Right, yes.
Then
Well, and I just
down-
think
no,
they're.
they'll have the down pat.
Right, well, they're not that big of an operation, so to try and do two big jobs concurrently would seem to be stretching it too thin.
So they say in the paper they were doubling their size.
They did get 25.
Yeah, I don't know.
So the fields used during the summer,
Andy, I'm going to defer to you on this.
for them to say, well, we think we can get it done late winter, early spring,
Right.
before softball starts. If they're wrong, then we
Right.
did.
I know.
Maybe if they waited, when softball's done, we've got all summer.
And that kind of construction is something a lot easier than spring.
You know, and I think from my perspective, we'll keep calling him for updates. I think he may be feeling pressure to move. I mean, if where it's comfortable, I can certainly, the next conversation I have with him, I can certainly mention, would it be easier all around just to do this in the summer?
Although, just in terms of reestablishing the field, it's going to be easier to play softball, because they won't be on the softball field that much. If they did it in the summer to reestablish the growth and get the field flat and the field time, will probably take a lot longer, and they'll be playing directly down on that end where most of the staging is. So, from a field perspective, it would be easier to, on softball. Plus, if you really needed to, you could do some work on the JV softball field over here, make that your varsity site. Yeah, I mean, you have to do some work, you know.
That was kind of my question, what our options were, should the plan to completion have roadblocks or what have you? Is there another place for the softball team to use or?
And I think, well, you know, preliminary discussions with Fred were, you know, don't count on using that field, so play your games away or find another alternative site. I think that would have to be part of it, and hopefully we wouldn't have to follow on that, but might as well just plan for it that way. Worst case scenario, or hope for the best.
It's easier to play the softball field than to play the field hockey.
Yeah, and I think that Walker field instead of open to allow us to use that.
Yeah. A lot of opponents don't have JV softball. So, I mean, you saw your
So we
middle
just
school,
like-
the dance with the middle school, varsity middle school, but the JV teams are limited at a lot of schools in that area of the world.
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense as we get closer, when UConn's actually being finished up, to then sit down with Dave and you and Fred and
Right, I agree.
the maintenance, you know, the fields, everybody who takes care of fields, and sort of brainstorm, like what's the least disruptive, gets everything back up to playable conditions the fastest, which, you know.
Anything else on that? Okay, our technology update, you know, and I just want to take a minute while Candy's here. She's done a phenomenal job leading the technology committee, just surpasses every expectation that I could ever have. She was great. Ken, Candy, and I went over to Lamogo on December 5th, and we sat down with Superintendent for a few minutes, the high school principal, the library media specialist, and 3 teachers from throughout the district. Because we have to remember they're a whole district K-12, and we're just middle and high school. It was a great discussion that we had at first, and Candy, feel free to jump in at any time. We really felt like we were in a very good place compared to Wamogo. We felt we had most of what they have in place already. As far as the hardware goes, they went down a little bit of a different path. They went and got 125 of these netbooks, and they put them in the English department. So we walked down to observe a couple of the classrooms, and basically the notebook stays right there on the desk, opened up. The kids log on when they get in, log off when they leave. So that they don't carry it with them, that just stays right there as part of their day. But that way, all of the students in grades 9 through 12 would have an opportunity to use the netbooks. So that was an interesting way to look at it. They spend an awful lot of money and time on professional development. Actually, it was astonishing to me how much time and energy they put into it. They send 20, 30, maybe 40 teachers out to either national conferences, international conferences. They go to Philadelphia and Florida just about every year. And they really have become a culture of the learner becoming the teachers. So you send out the teachers who are most interested in it, and after time they come back and then they become the advocates in the building, and then they offer the professional development to their own staff. So they really have become now drivers of their own professional development as far as technology goes. So that was very interesting. This one thing that kind of I took away from that, I know Candy did too, was their student management system. They have basically one hub that everything travels through. So when you log on to their website, all the teachers have their own websites off of that. Their websites are basically kept up by this secretaries, the building secretaries are doing the updating of the page, the front page, while the teachers are then putting up all of their assignments and their lesson plans and everything else on their own pages. Now, of course, this happened over time. It didn't just happen like that, but we do not have the capacity currently to do that through one place. They still have the Power School component of it for the academic piece, but as far as communication goes, everything's coming through one hub. That's something that Candy and Mike Stapleton have already been looking at, spent a great deal of time researching which program they like best for that. So we kind of narrowed it down, and we're looking at being able to swap out some things that we used to buy and repurchase this instead, and trying to have a budget neutral as much as we possibly can, but trying to look at how we use our money and technology a little bit differently is an important piece. Is there anything I left out, Candy, that sticks out in your mind as far as, no, I think that was right.
Yeah. So do they do any BYOTs, or they just use the netbooks in English?
There's about, we said about 70 kids.
Bring their own, and then they can use them as,
Instead of the netbooks, or anywhere?
and so that was just a little bit different. And I sense that they are interested in going down that road, but I think they like, if they could have their money, they would prefer just to buy them.
Right.
So, interesting. It's very, very,
And how long have they, so it's just the English department that uses this, right?
one-on-one.
And how long has that been, have they been running?
I said last year.
Okay.
What kind of functionality are you using in the netbook? Yes.
Well, one of the lessons that we saw had to do with poetry. So they had, instead of the teacher basically standing up and reading a poem to you and talking about the author, there was a page of different poets and different poetry that were hot links, so the kids could go on, read the different poems, and then whatever they had a personal interest in, they would choose that poetry, and then do their project on that. So it was very individualized as far as their interest. That was one of them. The other English class, I think they were doing multimedia projects, some kind of a writing, would have been a form of a writing prompt or a research project. They were doing electronic.
It's not all good.
It does. So, right, isn't that true? So Candy and I met this morning just to talk a little bit about Womogo, and then we're going to be meeting again to hammer out, really kind of formalize what, how we think that we should do this in a meaningful way. Candy's done a great deal of research already on policy, on acceptable use policies, board policy, on everything in that. So we have a binder that she's put together for us. So we're in very good shape. I think we're going to be able to do this in a very positive way. Thanks in big part to Candy for that. Ken and Roger and I met with the Ag Ed Advisory Board recently. They have their own advisory board. They requested a meeting with us because part of the state accreditation, when they came out, they gave us great reviews. But one of the things they said is that our people were really worked very, very hard, many, many hours, and they just felt that, you know, time after time, apparently they have been saying, we really recommend that you look into this board position. So they came to meet with us basically to say, we are here to support you. We are here to support the board. Tell us what we can do. We really feel strongly about getting this board position in. But Roger and Ken and Mia and I had met in October maybe and looked at this, trying to figure out if we did get this fourth teacher and we could have these, what did we come up with, I think 18 additional students or whatever it was, it would not have a budget impact on us at all. So we do have the space for it, we have a plan to do it without a budget impact, so that's where we're going with this. We think we're very confident in being able to do that. And I think it will make a big difference to the people down there. We'll be able to offer more programs, and we will be able to open up more space.
As few as 10 out of district kids.
Then that was
Maybe even 9.
we'd be safe budget with budget on that, just to get this. And then, yeah, and we have so many kids interested, you know, so. We had more than we budgeted for.
Right. With the number of teachers, that's what becomes a limiting factor. The space is there for additional staff.
Right. So we're excited about it, and that's one thing that I think we can look forward to improving in these economic times. So that's a big thing. Paula and I had our second visit in front of the Winchester zoning board tonight, and I'm happy to say that they did approve 30 Elm Street for the third Islander Academy location. It will be more of a counseling these students on how to have your independent living skills augmented and things of that nature, but we're in a very good place with that. Paula will be signing the lease, the keys, she'll have the keys within the next couple of weeks. They're bringing in some things for the kids. John Block's bringing in a washer and a dryer and other things so that the kids can have that. So we're very happy about that. Again, there's no cost, so that's terrific.
And will this, does this allow for an increase in the number of students in the Highlander Academy?
It does. It does, yeah. And so
As well as providing another skill set for the kids who are on the.
Right, that's right. So we're very happy about that. And then the last thing I just wanted to mention is that our bullying policy, safe school plan has been sent to the state, has been received and accepted, so that's good. And I just want to thank you all for your work on that. And I think that's all I have.
Back up to the ag. Sure. By bringing in 14, I think I understand how bringing in out of district students would allow funding. So it's net. How does it work with the 18 more students within the district? Where does that additional funding come from? Something the state does reimburse it?
But not at the same level, because obviously when you have out-of-district students, you're getting the tuition. The state sets the amount that we can charge each of the sending districts, but you have that coming in with any out-of-district. In district, you simply get more money in terms of an operating grant. It's roughly $1,400 a kid for both your own students and those that come from sending districts.
So 18 students within the district is the break point. We're sure that we have 18 more
Well,
students.
we were have a division between in-district and out-of-district kids. That's what we would expect.
Okay. So it's possible that this one could be net positive.
That program is always net positive. If you really sit down and take a look at it, consider it.
What's your gut say on the long-term viability of that? Something you see continuing to grow?
Yes.
Because they have changed their name. Well, no, it's agricultural science and
Oh,
technology.
precisely. Right. Oh, I see, yes.
So the emphasis is a broader emphasis than it was in its original setting of being basically farm-oriented, because now you're tying into all the agricultural occupations that may do spill over into the sciences, people working in the genetics, those kinds of things. So it's a much broader exposure than was the exposure, say, 25 years ago.
So this would be a new hire, because there's not, is there the possibility that we have existing staff that might be interested?
Yes.
Qualified?
Yes.
Yes.
Would you have to backfill that person?
If we had, yes. Does that mean that person can be replaced?
Mr. Newbury?
Okay, fairly short report. No transfers tonight, just a couple things that have been happening. You know, it was dark when you came up, but the observatory has been moved and placed over there on the little knoll as you come up the driveway.
Yep.
Our custodians did the foundation, the sonotubes, they poured them, and got somebody to actually move it with a forklift.
Oh.
It's actually a pretty good sized building. Yeah, that front end of the forklift. It looks bigger than it did sitting out in the lot.
Right.
The other thing that our custodians have been doing and kind of plugging in, because they have these skills that we're very lucky to have. They've been preparing the area downstairs for robotics, because we have to do some modifications of that area to make sure it is secure for the building that's going to go on in there, and that nobody interferes with it after it's been built and worked on. So that will continue through the Christmas vacation. So we really hope by the end of Christmas to have that area workable for the robotics. The main thing we're doing now as far as the business operation is the budget. So we're working on that. One of the biggies we will get later on this month, and that will be our first glimpse at what the healthcare renewal is. We have a renewal that comes in the middle to the end of December. Expect to get it somewhere around the 21st, 22nd right now. That is our worst scenario. We are also going out to bid on it. Those specs are being prepared. We'll see what happens. I think that's pretty much it.
All righty. Kenny, you're welcome to stay, go, whatever. So, officially giving you, you always,
I do
like
wait
it
for the official one.
Yeah, you don't need to wait.
That's my concern. I don't want to be rude or disrespectful.
No, well, I appreciate that. Okay, moving on to updates, or old business rather. Updates is the first thing on there. So the Cave Caps Convention, lovely time we brought. I was only there for Saturday morning. Judy was there for the whole weekend.
Couple of things came out of it. I will say it was Judy introduced the morning keynote speaker. So it's sort of fun to have your superintendent be the president of the organization and the one standing up to introduce somebody. Who then gave this really depressing, not Judy, the presenter gave this really depressing presentation about the state of the world economy. I was like, oh, what are we going to do now? But I mean, he was very knowledgeable and it was a good presentation. It just wasn't cheered at 8:30. The one thing I went to 2 workshops that morning. One was on BYOD, which Judy also ended up attending, which sounded successful. What was Judy and I both noticed was in his presentation PowerPoint pictures, despite being called BYOD, the kids all seem to have the same laptop. So I'm a little suspicious about how BYOD it really is, but I need to follow up with him. He made himself available by email and the rest. I'm spacing out what the school system is from Cheshire, right? Anyway, he was very enthusiastic and it was a good workshop. The second one I went to was about, was by the Berlin, depending on how you'd like to say that word, Board of Education. One of the things they have done is they have created a member handbook, which I will pass around. It is not, I checked their website this afternoon. They're meant to link it to the website at some point. They have not done it yet. But basically, it's what it says. Included in that handbook is a lot of information about the way the board functions, about their election procedure, about, which is unusual, they're the only ones in the state who have non-affiliated elections. It includes things just sort of board meeting mechanisms, how things run, what the expectations for board participation are, board conduct, FOI rules. It's really thorough. The end of it includes a glossary of terms that tend to get thrown around with explanations about what they are, including a whole list of acronyms. It's impressive, and I think it's something that I'm interested in our pursuing. And so I want to throw it out to you tonight to have you look at it and get some feedback from you. I certainly think it's something you would benefit from, both in the creation of, because obviously the process of coming up, you can't just change the cover.
Our board elections are by towns, so.
Right, but
Who do they provide us for?
board members. I mean, it's a public
So when
document,
a
so
new board member came,
you would give it to them.
because
You
you
would
were
say,
worried
here's your
about that
handbook.
you didn't talk to
Right,
new
right,
board members.
right. And it also then becomes the reference document.
And another document.
Right, no, and absolutely, their thing is that, well, and they, I mean, their board chair did the workshop along, and the superintendent was there as well. But they re-accepted every year
Right.
as a way of affirming that, yes, we still agree to everything that's right, everything that's in here. If there are any updates that are called for, then there's an opportunity to do that. But I think as smoothly as this board has functioned in my tenure, there's always, it's easy to let things slip when you're functioning smoothly, but I think if you have a document like that, then if there become challenges for the board, it provides a sort of objective guideline for how we manage those situations. And it really is very thorough. It talks about things, sort of what in terms of board members getting information, what the chain of protocol is, who to ask your question of, where does that question go, where does the answer come, blah, blah, blah. I'll leave enough time to come back to it later, but I would be interested in our trying to put something together, and so looking for people who would be interested in helping with that and form one of our ad hoc subcommittees to begin to do that, have those conversations, and then bring drafts to the whole board for review and to talk about. And as I say, I think a lot of the benefits of those kinds of things are not only what happens in perpetuity, but also even just the process of creating it generates good conversations for us to have about what our priorities are, what our goals are, etc. So, you know, it was one of those sort of unfortunate workshops that you go to and you are inspiring and are good to think about, and then think, oh, that just means I have more work to do. But I think it would be worthwhile to take on. So I'll wait till everyone's had a chance to look at it, and then we can come back and see if there's anybody who would be interested in trying to do that.
You think they'd be okay with us plagiarizing this?
Yes. Yeah. He shared it. I mean, obviously he shared it openly, and he said you can't just take the cover off, and not because of a sort of proprietary thing, but just it doesn't work. Doesn't work for everybody.
A lot of it is coming
Yeah,
directly.
you could go through and edit it a lot.
Certainly if it
Right.
was skill.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, I mean, it makes it easier for us because there's a template at least to go through and say, you know, these are the pieces that are also applicable to this board, blah, blah, blah. These are the pieces we need to add, et cetera. But even things like, I mean, for this board in terms of the 4 towns, understanding that we all know when each town has their elections, when other members are likely to change, what the weighted voting looks like, what constitutes a quorum, you know, all that stuff that I have to keep sort of cheat notes would be in there, so that not only would whoever was the chair have them, but all the members would understand, so that they would be able to participate in an informed way. So,
Makes a lot of sense.
that's
It'd be worthwhile.
right. It's the unfortunate part.
Did they send you the Word document?
Well, you're thinking the same one.
Right.
Is it electronic version?
Right. Well, I mean, I could certainly email Gary and, you know, ask him. I mean, they were very, everybody.
If they edited that every year.
Right. No, I'm sure they do. And, you know, I mean, everybody at the convention was very.
Or just provide a link when they get it up on the.
Right.
Yeah, but you can't change it through the app.
Right.
You can't do it programming changes.
Right, to copy it over. But yeah, I'm sure they'd be happy to. I mean, everybody at the convention was very, any questions, here's my email, contact me later, so I mean, it's a pretty open, collaborative group.
How different could it possibly be from one board to the other than the logistics of the board?
Right.
So a lot of that
Yes.
information isn't
The
anything
FOI is
new
the
or-
same.
Right, right. Yeah, no, we're all bound by the same state statutes
Right.
and that kind of thing, just in terms of their.
The individual board's logistics are not
The-
down
right.
how our.
Help with that.
Right. And also what priorities are. I mean, that is, reflects their philosophy of how the board functions. And I think there's some wiggle room in how boards function. You know, I mean, we're all bound by the same statutes, but the character of the board or the expectation, one example is they made a big deal about a dress code for board meetings. Yeah, I mean, and like absolutely every man on that board is expected to wear a jacket and tie to every board. And all the females are expected to dress in that. I'd have to go out and buy a new wardrobe, but, you know, but I mean, that kind of thing, I mean, certainly if we are going to be taped and broadcast, that's a consideration. And I understand, I mean, when you look at the actual language in there, it's more general. It says something like business appropriate or, but the idea that there's an expectation that you're here as a public servant, elected official, you should dress right.
And I think it again depends upon the way the board is set up as well. You know, the board for like Bridgeport
Right.
School District is certainly going to operate different than
Yes.
Region 7. So,
Right.
you know, I think that makes a big difference too.
Yes.
Some of those things that you pick and choose that are important.
Right, no, exactly. So, I mean, I would, if I was gonna dress like I was working in an office, I would have to literally go by, I don't work in an office, so.
So you just have your Board of Ed outfit, that's all.
I'll just borrow clothes from Judy and we'll be all set.
Some of us
I
come right from work, which is not an office.
Right, no,
We're
that's-
volunteers.
Right. No, I mean, and I have no interest in sending all these men home who have been at work all day, not in a suit and tie, or who have changed out of it happily to go home and put it back on, so. But that was just an example of sort of priorities are different, size of district is different. We live in the country.
I'm retired, I don't want to tie anymore.
Exactly. No, right, and I don't want to, so have a look at it, Noel, I appreciate your interest and willingness, so we can start with the two of us and see who else wants to jump in.
Thanks for volunteering. No, I think it'd be a good learning curve for you.
Me too, me too. I don't have anything else, did you have anything else you wanted to say?
No, I mean, just, thank you for coming down. Sure, there were hundreds of people there.
Yes.
On Friday, Saturday. Great.
Mhm.
It's just a long way on for us here. So, appreciate that.
What piece?
Retreats.
Retreats, yeah, right, I mean, they have an annual retreat, their board goes on a retreat every year.
March, Florida.
That was very nice, Deanna. Perfect.
All scanned in.
Alrighty, the next piece is the policy review, reporting of child abuse, changes are in red. They're all statutory requirements based on the latest legislation. There's nothing substantive, it's just a change in language in terms of defining who are the mandated reporters and who we have to report to.
A lot of the language comes by the child abuse is recognized or observed and don't act upon it. Now we are part of the problem.
That's
That's been the
right, that's been the case.
But I always review everything with Ken and Candy before I bring it in front of you. And there was just one thing that we felt strongly about. It's the bottom of the first paragraph, second to last sentence, basically, well, actually, fourth line from the bottom of the first paragraph, where it starts, the building principal shall be notified immediately after the oral report's been made to the principal. In turn, will notify the superintendent of schools and the child's parents. We want to add the language, if deemed appropriate, because there may be a time when the parent is the one that we suspect. So we just don't want the policy to say one thing, and then if we don't do that because it's not in the child's best interest, we would be in violation of this. So we just want to add, if deemed appropriate there.
Shouldn't it also be parent/guardian?
Yes, that's good.
Should also be, further, it seems like they make exceptions, that this person shall be notified unless they're the one who's so suspected of abuse. So that you can go through the whole document and add that phrase.
I think that was the one area where that contact had to be made. I think that was the initial piece of this when you start investigating it, to notify the superintendent, notify the child parents. I don't think I remember that seeing that.
It actually says it
Immediately
the
notify
third
the parents.
paragraph, except when that person is the alleged perpetrator, so that
covers
all
it.
there.
Yeah, that was the only place we saw it, and we felt strongly about it. But as you review this, over the next couple of weeks, just make notes or send an email, and then this is just the first read, so we'll come back, you can make any adjustments that you feel should be there, but as administrators, we feel pretty comfortable. That's just nice to go in.
That they used, except when that person is the alleged perpetrator.
You want to use that instead of
deemed appropriate? because then who's making the decision about it being appropriate?
Right.
Right, but that's the only reason why we wouldn't notify.
That is the only reason. Okay, so we'll just put that language. Yep. It's easy. Okay, thank you. New business?
Question.
Yep.
We talked about the board being educated.
Thank you. Yes. By departments, you mean?
Right, we talked about being educated on Mr. John Davis policy.
The
No,
safety,
Going to
bullying
the staff in the school.
the bullying stuff.
Bullying.
Right, right, right.
Do we have a plan for when that might happen for the board?
Well, it can be whenever you would like. I know we have the budget coming up, would that first meeting in January be a possibility? Or is that? Because the PowerPoint's
Okay.
no.
So why don't we do it then? Because
Okay.
we won't be quite
In, with,
up to our eyeballs in numbers yet.
We'll be totally immersed.
The other thing that we had talked about as well is putting together a schedule, a rotating schedule where different departments would come and make presentations to us to sort of update us on what's going on in the department. That's where I thought it would go.
Sorry, I wasn't.
Yep, no, I didn't let you finish. And I touched base with Judy about that before the meeting as well. So she and Ken and department chairs are also putting together that kind of stuff. It'll probably, if we do the bullying thing,
Right on the schedule.
Right.
They would have this month for this department, this month, I remember the union had a schedule. So that the departments knew well ahead, like April is science, May is this one. But that's.
yeah. Do you have a preference of?
No, I mean, that probably up to 10 or 11.
Right.
We used to tell them 15 or more than 20.
Yes. Okay, that's great.
And we would let them go as the beginning, so.
Right.
Okay, and I just want to go back to the bullying overview for a minute.
Yep.
Are you interested in getting basically the same training that we've given to our teachers, parents? Or
As long as it's not like hours long.
Right, okay. So we'll abridge it as appropriate.
Like in cleaning.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Fine.
Yeah, I think, yeah. We'll just make sure it's.
Right, I mean, right.
Just so we have an appreciation
Yes.
for
Right.
You got it.
expectations.
It's ready to go, so we're good. Okay.
So we're doing that on January 11th.
Right. These are notes I'm making here, so it sort of comes under new business. But as I drove up and noticed the observatory, I thought we should have a sign saying what it is. Because if you don't know, I mean, if you look at it and figure out what the dome is on top, but I think it would be a nice, because now it's there, right as you drive up the driveway, parents come up, visitors come up. I think it's a nice thing to sort of advertise Northwestern Astronomy Club, or something. Yeah. I'm not sure if is it up, the electricity? Not quite. It's just been relocated, but not quite. We have everything we need.
And we're ready to put when we did it, we poured the big cement block in there, which is, the telescope is about 6 feet deep and 4 or 5 feet by 3. It's one big block of concrete. But that's what it sits on, and that's where it was originally. It sat on the same type. Our head custodian actually met the fellow that built it, the family that had it. So we got to talk to him, and he came up and actually looked at it and helped us set up the foundation from the standpoint of what it had originally. pretty close to the original building.
So you just need power? Just need power then?
Right, eventually we're gonna have to put some power over there, bring it over to shared services.
And it was a donation and Highlander fund, right? Combination, or one piece was donated and?
Right, what the Highlander Fund worked out the deal. They traded this for a shed that they provided.
Okay.
They got the observatory.
Okay. Because if, I mean, you know, it doesn't have to be an elaborate sign, but if there's a sign that just says, you know, astronomy club, whoever's observatory it is.
Northwestern Observatory.
Right. And then just sort of, you know, made possible by or donated by both the family and the Highlander, or something, just sort of give credit.
I think the Highlander Fund made it possible.
Yep. So that, I mean, it's a nice piece of advertising for them, that when people are aware that this club actually, or the fund is actually doing something, you know, so get more money and do more things. And just as, in the interest of full disclosure, board member handbook aside, again, it's not a union position, so it doesn't officially have to come before the board, but just so you all know, my two stepsons are coaching the middle school boys basketball team. So,
Which obviously interesting.
Most interesting for them, as the two brothers are coaching. But just so you all know that they are officially employees in that stipend position. And so if there are any issues with middle school basketball, boys basketball, I will be stepped out of this position during those conversations. We won't have any. But anyway, I just want you all to know that. Heads up. And those are all my notes for tonight. Anybody else have anything? Okay, great. Great, and well, and I think it's great to have people who don't know, because there are things, I mean, then it makes it a more complete, like.
They reference the things like, you know, coming together, board member, see you in court, and things like that, and I like that.
So
To the game cats, that was.
Yeah.
And the brown.
Right.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, no, it's well done. Okay, great.
So you can get an electronic edition from them,
Yep.
you can start when you're ready.
Yep, okay. I will contact Gary. Thank you. Anything else for anybody? Do we need?
No.
We don't have anything.
No, we don't have anything.
Okay. Phew. Good. So, I don't remember.
We've done everything
That
that's on the
needs to be
table
done,
right now.
right. Check that off. I do need a motion. We only have one meeting this month. I don't need a motion. Okay. We just set that calendar again. All right, so I think we're good to go. Motion to adjourn? I know.
Wow.
You pick a name, or pick one of them as the second. All in favor? You're done?
Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy
Yes.
holidays.
Merry Christmas, all.
Yep.